the salt that calls my name. I never thought a simple job surveying land would turn my life into an unending nightmare. My name is Dara Sokha, 32 years old, living in Phnom Penh, the bustling capital of Cambodia. Before all this, my life was pretty ordinary and somewhat monotonous, waking up at 6 a.m. every morning, brewing a cup of black coffee without sugar in my small rented apartment in Phnom Penh district, then driving my old Toyota to the environmental consulting firm's office. There, I'd spend most of my day hunched over a computer screen, analyzing soil samples from various sites, measuring pH levels, checking for heavy metal contamination, and drafting lengthy reports for development projects. I'm proud to be an environmental engineer who's rational and science-driven. I don't believe in ghosts, spirits, or the folklore tales that rural folks love to spin. My parents died when I was very young, during the chaotic Civil War years of the 1970s, but I've never delved deep into that past. My aunt, who raised me, only said they disappeared in the war, and I accepted it as part of the country's history. I like to think I've escaped those shadows of the past, focusing on the present and future. That's why I took this job without hesitation, a trip to survey an old salt field in Kampot province to assess its potential for redevelopment by a foreign corporation specializing in natural resources. The company assigned me the task on a Monday morning when my boss called me into the meeting room. Dara, you're the best fit for this project. Prek Sla, an abandoned salt field in Kampot. They want to know if it can be turned into a modern salt production site. The records show it stopped operating in the 80s due to mass labor accidents of unknown causes. Probably sinkholes or salt poisoning. You'll be there for a week, collect samples, analyze, and report back. I nodded, thinking it was just another routine fieldwork assignment. I packed lightly, a few sets of comfortable clothes, measurement equipment like a portable pH meter, a specialized digging shovel, plastic sample bags, a laptop, and even a book on geology for downtime reading. I flew from Phnom Penh to Sihanoukville, then rented a Jeep to drive to Kampot. The road was picturesque at first. Lush green rice paddies on both sides, winding rivers snaking through low mountains, and a faint salty sea breeze from afar. I stopped in Kampot town for lunch, a steaming bowl of kui taiv with thinly sliced beef, fresh herbs, and a dash of chili. Then bought extra bottled water, sandwiches, and instant coffee packets. From the town to Prek Sla, it took another 2 hours on winding red dirt roads, dust clouding the windshield. As I got closer, the landscape grew sparse. No more small villages with kids playing, no motorcycle hums, just dry scrubland and abandoned fields. When I arrived, I parked at the edge of the field, turned off the engine, and stepped out. Immediately, an odd feeling washed over me. Prek Sla was a vast expanse, about 50 hectares, blinding white under the harsh afternoon sun. The salt had crystallized into a hard crust, glistening like snow in cold countries I'd only seen in movies or online photos. But unlike snow, there was no life here. No birds flying overhead in the clear blue sky, no insects buzzing around my feet, not even a gentle breeze to stir the air. Just absolute silence, a heavy kind that seemed to swallow all sound into the white salt expanse. My boots sank slightly into the crust as I walked, crunching dryly, echoing in the stillness. I paused, took a deep breath, and thought to myself, this place is eerie. The soil is oversaturated with salt, probably killing the ecosystem. But economically viable if we can revive it. I need to survey thoroughly. The first person I met was Mr. Chan Rithi, the caretaker of the field. He was hired by the company to watch over it, preventing theft of old equipment remnants. He was around 67, gaunt like a stick, skin tanned dark from years under the sun, wearing a faded shirt and traditional sarong wrapped around his waist. He lived in a small wooden shack at the field's edge, no electricity, just oil lamps and an old battery-powered radio for local news. When I introduced myself and shook his hand, he nodded slightly, avoiding direct eye contact, as if hiding something. Hello, Dara. The corporation sent you? Be careful. The salt here isn't like regular salt. His voice was soft, almost a whisper, with a heavy Kampot accent, sounding like wind brushing over the salt crust. I laughed, assuming he was joking or following some old folk habit. What do you mean, sir? Salt is just sodium chloride, NaCl. I'm here to collect soil samples, measure moisture, check for heavy metals. It'll be done in a few days. He shook his head slowly, his cloudy eyes glancing at the white field. He turned away, fetched an old ceramic bowl from inside the shack, scooped water from a plastic barrel behind it, sprinkled salt in, and placed it carefully in front of the door like a ritual. Curious, I asked, "What are you doing that for? To ward off mosquitoes?" He didn't look at me, just replied curtly, "To keep peace. Salt doesn't preserve bodies, it preserves memories." Those words echoed in my mind, but at the time I brushed it off as local custom, maybe to repel insects or based on superstition. I'm not superstitious, and I had work to do right away. The first day went by normally, at least by my standards. I carried my gear, the portable pH meter with its small LED screen, stainless steel digging shovel, clear plastic sample bags with labels, and a digital recorder for on-the-spot notes. The field was divided into old square plots from previous operations, now covered in a thick white salt layer about 10 to 20 centimeters deep. The sun was blinding, so I wore dark sunglasses and a wide-brimmed hat to avoid heat stroke. I started at a plot on the edge, digging shallow holes about 20 centimeters deep, carefully scraping aside the fine white salt. Beneath was red clay soil typical of Kampot, unusually moist despite the scorching sun and no recent rain. The first sample I took, when I touched it, felt warm. Not ambient temperature warm, but like it had just been handled by someone. I checked the portable thermometer, 35 degrees for the soil, while the air was only 30 degrees Celsius, and the surface salt was cooler. Odd, but I figured it was due to the salt's heat retention properties, or warm groundwater below. I noted into the recorder, Sample 1, eastern edge, 20 centimeters depth. Red clay, high moisture, anomalous temperature 35 degrees Celsius. Check for geothermal activity later. I collected a few more samples from nearby spots, all sharing the same traits. Warm soil, salt clinging stubbornly to my skin, hard to wash off even with water from my bottle. In the afternoon, as the sun softened, I met Shrey Leek, the local interpreter hired by the company. She was 28, tall and slender, with long black hair tied in a neat bun, dressed in slim jeans and a simple cotton t-shirt, looking more urban than this remote area suggested. She arrived on an old Honda motorcycle, red dust caked on it, carrying a plastic bag of bottled water and photocopied documents on Kampot's history. "Hello, Dara. I'm Shrey Leek. I'll help if you need to talk to locals or translate old docs. This Prek-Sla area, people avoid it like the plague. Mostly farmers steer clear." Her voice was cheerful, with a friendly smile showing even white teeth, but I noticed her eyes darting away when glancing at the white field, as if uneasy. We walked the field's perimeter as I explained the survey plan. I told her how I dig holes at various points, edges, center, deeper in, for representative samples, then analyze on site or send back to Phnom Penh. Leek nodded, then abruptly asked, "Did you know my grandmother disappeared in Kampot in 1978? She worked in the salt regions nearby, then one day never came home. Family searched, but nothing." I stopped, probing for details out of curiosity, but she shrugged, forcing a smile. "Just old stories, Dara. War times, lots of disappearances. Don't mind it. Let's focus on work." I brought an old map of the field from French colonial times for reference. That night, I stayed at Mr. Mao Chan's shack since driving back to Pot Town in the dark was risky with potholes and fog on the dirt roads. He let me sleep in a corner on an old bamboo mat with a thin mosquito net. Night at Prek-Sla was truly bizarre. No strong winds from the sea, but I heard crunching, like salt cracking or footsteps on the hard crust. At first, I thought it was light breeze from the nearby Prek River or small animals like rats or snakes. But lying still, listening, it came and went, circling the shack slowly, patiently. I opened the door, shone my small flashlight outside. The field was pitch black, only faint moonlight on the white salt, making it sparkle like an inverted starry sea. No movement, no one. I closed the door, lay down, tried to sleep, but the crunching persisted, mixed with oppressive silence, making me restless. Eventually, exhaustion from the day took over, and I drifted off. The next morning, I woke at dawn, feeling refreshed despite fitful sleep. Mr. Chan had prepared a simple breakfast outside. A plate of cold rice, salted dried fish grilled, and some wild greens picked nearby. As I ate, he asked evenly, "Hear anything last night? The salt sound?" I shook my head, not wanting to admit it, but he smiled faintly, wrinkles deepening on his aged face. "You will. The salt here remembers a long time. It doesn't forget what happened." Leek and I started day 2 by moving deeper into the field's center. We picked a central plot where the salt was thickest, about 30 centimeters on top. I dug down, the shovel hitting something hard after clearing the salt. I knelt, brushed the fine salt aside with bare hands. It was a broken comb, made of cheap plastic, the kind common in the 70s I'd seen in Phnom Penh's History Museum. Strangely, holding it, it was warm, like recently used, around 37 degrees Celsius, body temperature. I showed Leek, keeping my voice steady. When's this from? Probably old worker trash. Leek took the comb, fingers trembling, dropped it immediately like burned. It's too warm, Dara, like someone just combed their hair. Her face paled, eyes scanning the field anxiously. I laughed, thinking she was overly sensitive from local tales, but holding it again, it was indeed warm. I bagged it, noted. Anomalous object 1, central position, 25 centimeters depth. Broken plastic comb, anomalous temperature 37 degrees Celsius. Carbon date later. We kept digging, collecting more red clay samples, still moist and warm, with a faint, tangy soil scent, like something aged. At noon, the sun brutal, we rested under the only keo tree at the edge, its sparse leaves providing meager shade. Leek brought meat-stuffed sandwiches and fresh coconut water. We sat eating, chatting to pass time. She shared more about her grandmother, voice lowered as if afraid of eavesdroppers. Grandma said this field had hundreds of workers toiling day and night, digging salt under burning sun. Forced labor, no rest, meager food. Then one day, accidents happened. Many died suddenly, but no proper burials. They just buried them in the ground, covered with salt to hide the smell. No graves, no rituals. I asked why no proper rites. She shrugged, gazing distant. Khmer Rouge times, Dara. Chaos, fear of punishment for stopping. Grandma was one, but she escaped, or so she said. But she vanished eventually. I disliked mentioning the Khmer Rouge. It was Cambodia's dark era, and my parents vanished in it, though I remembered nothing. I changed topics quickly, asking about the salt's geology here. Leek said, voice slightly shaking. Locals say Prexla salt holds heat oddly, like holding the warmth of buried things, and if you stay long, you start hearing calls from under the field. What kind of calls? Your name. In ancient Khmer, hoarse voice, rising from the earth. Even if you don't understand the language, you know it's calling you, like buried memories summoning back. I burst out laughing, patting her shoulder reassuringly. Ghost stories? I don't buy it. Probably auditory illusions from wind or geology, like air through soil cracks. Science explains everything. But that afternoon, digging another plot, we found a child's rubber sandal, tiny, made from old tire like kids wore back then. It was warm too, oddly clean, like dropped minutes ago. Then a metal ID card, worn unreadable, but still warm. I started feeling uneasy. Why were all dug-up items warm? I checked geothermal gear. No underground heat sources, no anomalous activity like hot springs or gas. But salt stuck to my skin, not falling off easily, like static cling or biological glue. When washing with bottled water, it dissolved but left itchy tingling. Second night's crunching was louder, clearer. I woke around 2 a.m., hearing footsteps circling the shack, slow, heavy, heart pounding, adrenaline surging. I opened the door, flashlight sweeping the field. No one, just salt glistening under moon. But in the beam, footprints, adult-sized, imprinted clearly on salt, then fading, vanishing in seconds like erased by invisible wind, though windless. I shut the door, lay down, but sleep evaded. Then, distant, breathing, not wind, but labored gasps, rising from ground through salt. Next morning, I told Mr. Chan about footprints and breathing over breakfast. He nodded, unsurprised, as if routine. The salt's telling its story now. Don't dig too deep, Dara. It'll pull you down, like the others before. I ignored him. I'm rational. Work must finish. Day 3, we dug deeper hole, about 1 meter near center. Red clay emerged, wetter, tangy scent like old blood mixed with earth. Brushing soil, my hand touched rotted wood fragment. On it, carved ancient Khmer letters, faint but readable. Dara Sokha, my name. I froze, hand shaking holding wood. What is this? Someone's prank? Leek, look at this. Leek bent down, face ashen like paper, stuttering. You don't know ancient Khmer, right? Why's your name here? These letters are old, weathered by time. I shook head, trying calm though heart raced. Coincidence, maybe, or recent carving to scare. Let's keep working, don't dwell. But wood was warm, carvings worn, moss covered. I pocketed it, tried forgetting, but mine churned all afternoon. Measuring samples, I heard whispering. Thought wind at first, then clearer. Dara Sokha. Ancient Khmer, hoarse, echoing from below ground, calling me. I whirled, no one. Leak 10 meters away, noting in book. Leak, you call me? She looked up, eyes wide terror. No, Dara? But I heard it. It's calling you, from the earth. I trembled, cold sweat despite afternoon heat. Impossible. I don't believe. But that night, fitful sleep, I dreamed the field in old times. Hundreds gaunt workers digging salt under scorching sun, then collapsing, dragged into red holes, salted over. I woke, sweating profusely, gasping. Mr. Chan sat nearby, watching. You talked in sleep, ancient Khmer. You said, return to us. I was shocked. I don't know ancient Khmer. How could I speak it? I sat up, head in hands, trying to recall dream. Blurry faces in dream. My parents? I've never seen their photos, but familiar feeling oddly. Day 4, things worsened. Salt coated me, unwashed despite soap and water from kit. Skin itched like something crawling underneath, whispering nonsense. Digging on, we found more. Broken silver bracelet, torn cloth rag with dried red stains like blood, all warm as if touched recently. Leak panicked, shovel hand shaking, voice shrill. Dara, stop please. Grandma said salt holds memories. Dead unrest, call living to replace, complete unfinished. I'm scared, heard my grandma's name. I snapped, hiding own fear. No more superstition. This is science. I must finish report. If scared, go back to town. But Leak stayed, face pale. That night calls clearer, echoing head. Dara Sokha? Return. You belong here. Couldn't bear, went out, shovel in hand, dug randomly midfield under moon. Under salt, red soil, wet. Then, hand touched hand, withered, black skin, long nails, but warm like alive, reaching. I screamed, backed away, fell on salt. Mr. Chan ran from shack with oil lamp. You dug it up. Now salt will hold you. Memories unburied return, pull you along. Don't recall after. Ran to shack, shaking, tried calling Phnom Penh, but weak signal, garbled. Next morning, Leak gone. Mr. Chan and I searched field, found her footprints leading center, then vanished, erased. No struggle, nothing. Called Kampot police via satellite phone. They said over speaker, Prexla like that, many disappear. Don't stay long, go home. Stayed, tried finishing report despite chaotic mind. But now calls constant, day-night. My name in familiar voices, my parents' never remembered faces, but memories flood like tide. Dug deeper despite, found old rusted metal tag. Sokha and wife, Prexla salt worker, missing 1978. My parents, forced laborers here, buried in accidents unrecorded, never left here, just returning. Salt warm, embracing, whispering buried memories, crunching closer like parents' footsteps calling. Maybe not new Dara Sokha, Phnom Penh engineer. Maybe always here, under salt, waiting name called to complete cycle. Don't know anymore. Report, probably won't send. If reading this, don't come Prexla. Salt remembers long, unforgiving. Memories don't die, just wait return, crawl from red earth. Day 5, woke feeling skin fused with salt, white salt caked hands, face despite scrubbing. Mirrored in small shack glass, eyes bloodshot, veins prominent like sleepless days. Mr. Chan sat outside, smoking leaf tobacco, smoke drifting in still air. Go back Phnom Penh, Dara. Salt chose you, won't let go. Must stay, Leak missing, find her, and report, finish. He shook head, voice sad, she not lost, returned, like her grandma years ago. Salt calls them fill void. Didn't understand, didn't ask. Took shovel, went field alone. Morning sun milder, but silence suffocating like invisible veil. Dug where Leak vanished, salt crunching, mocking. Below, red soil wet, found scarf, identical Leak's neck, one for sun. Warm, faint, cheap perfume scent. Heart clenched, called loud, Leak, where you? Call echoed back from ground, not Leak's voice, ancient Khmer raspy. Dara, join us, return us. Dug faster, soil flying, clinging clothes. Then small silver ring, engraved Shrey, like Leak's grandma's story. Sat down on salt, panting, mind spinning. Not hallucination. Something here, under salt, preserving, objects, memories, even life's warmth lost. That afternoon, tried typing report on laptop. Hands shook, strangely typed ancient Khmer unaware. Reading back, translated, memories not die, we return complete. Deleted, focused science data. Soil pH 7.5, heavy metals low danger, but temperature anomalous. Called company Phnom Penh, signal weak but connected. Dara, okay? Report how? Need data soon. Problem here. Leak missing, send rescue. Phone cut suddenly, calls resumed, louder. That night, dream repeated, vivid. Saw parents, faces clear now, gaunt, fear-filled eyes, digging salt, hands bleeding, dragged down by invisible shadows. Dara, son, return us. Don't leave salt cold alone. Woke, went field. Salt glistened moon, footprints appeared around, imprinting, vanishing quick. Felt salt pulling down, warm, inviting, like mother's arms. Day 6, no more digging. Sat shack, listened Mr. Chan old tales. Field burial ground Khmer Rouge victims. Unrecorded official, but people know. Hundreds died exhaustion disease, buried red earth, salted hide smell. Salt keeps them, keeps painful memories. Who comes if blood tie or memory link called back? My parents here? He nodded, likely. You there, son, return complete loop. Earth salt like hard drive, store everything. Cried, first since adult. Didn't remember, but memories surged. Hazy childhood images, red soil smell, name calls. Day 7, writing this warning. Calls closer, see shadows under salt beckoning. Maybe stay. Return. Salt warm, tired. If find, run. Don't dig.